Good morning. How are we?
I am fabulous. So, Sarah, what are you
Yes.
grateful for today?
I am grateful for my shower. Honestly, I couldn't imagine not having one. Very, very, very grateful for that. What are you grateful for?
I'm grateful that you haven't sworn yet. So let's put it there.
Wrote a swear
But-
jar.
Okay. But remember, the whole discussion about this podcast is that we are talking to all age groups.
We are, yes.
So if we can rein it in and let's just replace the words with fudge.
It will be fudge, I
Okay.
promise. But it's good for emphasizing things. You know, if I like to sit here and say, hey, Jessica, you look beautiful today. And then I say, Jessica, you look fudging beautiful. Wow.
You really
Big
wanted
difference.
to say the full word there.
I did.
But no, I'll tell you exactly what I'm grateful for today.
Amazing.
So every morning I read my daily mantras,
I love that.
and today is our first episode.
Yo.
And when I read this mantra, I was just like, holy moly, how much does this resonate with what we're trying to achieve? So the mantra goes, what you think, you become. What you feel, you attract. What you imagine, you create. This is the law of attraction in the simplest terms. Think it, feel it, create it. You are the captain of your ship, and I am the master of my own destiny.
I love that. How beautiful.
So why do you think we're doing this podcast? Like, what does this podcast mean to you? Like, queens that create dreams, where does this resonate?
It resonates with allowing you to be who you want to be, and it doesn't matter where you've come from. You can change your route at any time, pivot and move to make your dreams come true. Doesn't matter where you come from in life. You can be what you want to be.
And why do you say we're doing this podcast?
To inspire others, to show other people that there's so much in the world that you can do with your mind. It's so powerful.
Oh, the mind is such a powerful tool.
Yes.
And like, if I have to say anything, like things that I look back on and go, how the hell am I where I am now?
Yeah.
I
Yes.
have only been 18 months in real estate.
Yes.
And as you might have seen the news, created and dreamt and succeeded
Yes.
in getting a suburb record in Coogin.
Yes.
Um,
Over 10 mil, wasn't it?
It was over 10
Come
mil.
on, how much was it?
No, I disclose it. No,
Come on.
I do care about my owners, and
No,
I
I'm just
appreciate my
kidding, I'm
owners
just
and
kidding.
buyers. So as much as everyone's trying to pull it out of me, it's not happening.
It's an incredible result. Absolutely incredible.
Yeah, and that's only one of the many things I feel like you can achieve. And it's not about the dollar figure at the end. It's about the foundations that I have built and manifested to get where I am so early on in my career. So I think if you believe in yourself, you can create whatever you put your mind to.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
And so, Sarah, tell me a bit about your background.
So where I am today, I have been a real estate agent for nearly 2 years now, so 18 months, very similar to you. I've bought and sold my own property for over 10 years, done very, very well with capital growth and compounding that capital growth, and, you know, I'm still growing my portfolio, and that's when I was like, hey, I'm very good at buying houses and making money. I want to do this for other people and share what I do. And I just love service, providing service, world-class service. And I think I'm very, very good at what I do. So that's where I am now, running my own company, Central Buyers Agents, and I love it.
And tell me like a story of, a buyer or buyers that you have assisted where they potentially weren't able to break through the market at the beginning.
Oh, there's so many stories. Trying to pinpoint one. Let's just say I work with a lot of first-home buyers, right? It's very, very hard trying to purchase property when you have multiple people at open homes. I'm talking over 100 people at the open home, and you're trying to put them at ease. Not trying, I do. Put them at ease, making sure that, you know, they are looked after through the whole process. You know, some people don't even know what to put on a contract, relying on the selling agent to assist them with that, and having someone in their corner, which is me, helping them through the whole searching and sourcing due diligence of the property, and, buying the property at the right price, really. Yeah. So there's just been many first home buyers that I've helped. I can't pinpoint one.
And like talking about first home buyers, you were once a first home buyer.
Oh, yes. And I had no idea what I was doing.
What did you do? How
yeah.
did you buy your first property?
Yeah. I really relied on the selling agent and using all their contacts. So that's why as a buyer's agent, I've built my own contacts. I've got my own professional team around me where I am my client's corner. So I've got all the professional skills behind me, so they don't have to rely on the selling agent. Not that that's a problem.
Hey, come on, I am a selling agent here.
I know, but they've got someone on their corner, right? So yeah, which I wish I had.
And so that's one side of it. But how did you have that deposit to come to buy your first home? Did you do it solely? Were you in a relationship?
No, to be honest, my mum passed away when I was 4. Mm-hmm. So when my nana passed away and then my granddad passed away, I got my mum's share of the inheritance. Mm-hmm. I actually used that for my first property, which I'm very, very grateful for. I didn't have to save like a lot of people here. But it's about what you do with that money, right? Making sure that you invest it in the right location, the right asset for yourself and your family. So I was very, very blessed. I'd prefer to have my mum and my nana and my granddad here. However, that financial help was really, really great. So very, very grateful. Very, very grateful.
Yeah.
Huge stepping stone.
And I appreciate you confining with everyone about that. It definitely hits home to me. I don't think you can put a price tag on losing anyone in your life. I too lost my mum when I was 5 years old. My Bonpa passed away 2 months after from a broken heart of obviously losing his daughter. And for me, I look back now and I look at where I am and how much mum and our mums would be proud of us. I know when I went for my first home, I was a single mum at the time with a 1-year-old. I did have a successful business. I had worked really hard to grow a national franchise, and I was lucky in that way. But even earning good money to get borrowing capacity was ridiculous. So now I look at it, how do people get, those funds to be able to borrow to buy their first house? Because I struggled. But my advice would be to anyone listening is go and see those professionals. I saw
100%.
brokers, I saw financial advisors, and I was like, what can I do to get to that pivotal point of borrowing money so I could build my first property? And since then, being able to rely on the professionals.
Yes.
I, by the age of 35, was mortgage free. I've owned and transacted 3 properties, built 2 of those properties from scratch.
Yeah.
But yeah, people go to me, oh, you got all this wealth. And yeah, you can look at financial wealth. But I think this podcast is really important about talking about the happiness of wealth as well.
Oh, yeah.
Because like you said and I've said, you can't put a dollar value on all the pain that you get from losing someone so close to you.
Oh, yeah.
And I'd pay every single cent back to have that mum back
Oh,
here
you're
in
going to
my
make me
life.
cry. Absolutely.
So I guess this is getting to the point of why are we doing this? What is our motivation to do this, and what are the listeners going to get out? What do you think?
Well, firstly, I want to entertain people. I don't want to sit here and be bloody boring.
You are entertaining, but I'm not letting you swear on this.
Secondly, to educate. Thirdly, to inspire people, to show them, it doesn't matter where you come from, like I said, you can still go and do all the things that you want to do and want to achieve. It's very easy to sit in victimville. I've sat there, and I sat there from probably my 20s to my 30s, and I hate my life, and I was like that from 10 to 20 as well. I don't know, a good 20 years of I hate my life. Why am I here? like, you know, just talking crap to myself. And it's like someone said to me very bluntly, your mum is dead. She is never coming back. Get over your and get on with it. And I think from that moment I was like, yeah, I didn't realize I was sitting in like such a low point, like just loathing my life and myself. And it's like that's when it was a really huge turning point for me. So yeah, like I said, you can keep going. You can do all the things that you want to do. So that I just really want to just help educate people, especially in the property game. Buying property can create so much wealth. Like I've done it. I've sold and bought my own properties. I've renovated. And I have done so incredibly well for myself and my children. There was a lot of sacrificing and a lot of compromising from when I was a single mum and I had to start over. There was a lot of sacrificing, but I was able to do it and achieve it. So, yeah, I feel like I've done like 10 different lives in my one life, and I'm only 36 years old. So, do you know what I mean?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. No, I totally know what you mean. And I think for me, throughout my life, and you're exactly right, you can hit rock bottom several times throughout your life.
100%.
But it's all on you. You at the end of the day, you're the one who has to pick yourself back up.
Yes.
You can have people that support you, but if you don't believe in yourself and you don't want to move forward, you're going to be stuck back there.
Yeah.
And you're never going to get that success out of life.
But how easy is it just sitting there and just being, don't you think it's just easy?
It is. It is the easier option as most times. I think now being a parent, you do go, I don't want my kids to see me this way.
100%.
So that's definitely a huge motivational tool for me.
Yes.
Because I've got a girl that's nearly a teenager. And I just know with her and everything I've instilled in her, aka she's never sworn. So I'm going to say
my children are wild. My children are absolutely wild.
No, well, look, my 4-year-old's a bit wild, but we won't go there. But what I see is now, like, if I hit rock bottom and look, to be honest, I'm going for a divorce right now. So second time round of big separations. But I'm not letting that defeat me.
Absolutely not.
And I look at, someone goes to me, how do you keep going? And we'll talk about this more in episode 2, but my foundation is that I keep going because I don't want to be a miserable person and I want to be ultimately happy because richness is in happiness, as well as the wealth we create in, you know, property or finance or shares or crypto, whatever it is, because it all builds up to that ultimate happiness, because then you can go on your overseas family holidays and everything like that. But also,
I'm going solo, just saying.
Yeah. Well, I'm really jealous that you'll go to
See
Europe
ya,
solo,
kids.
but can I come
See
in
your
your
partner.
suitcase?
Do we have to do overseas holidays in a family? No, I'm just kidding. I've done that
but we
too
all
this
deserve
year.
that, because
No,
you
we
do need to have your own self-love as well. And
Which is so important, self-love and self-worth.
Yeah.
Honestly, when I didn't love myself, I was down here. Now I'm like, no, I deserve the absolute best, self-worth, boom, up here. So I don't settle for anything less. And like, for example, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but I've been sober now for 16 months because life was going so good. This is the second time I've gone sober for over 12 months. First time, life wasn't good. I was like, maybe I should stop drinking. Second time, life is so good. I was like, I do not want to fudge this up. Life is so good. I've met the man of my dreams. My kids are going amazing. My business had started, and I was like, wow. So, yeah, it just shows, like what you're saying, with the self-love and the self-worth, like it just goes hand in hand.
yeah, I take my hat off to you.
Oh, look, it's not easy. I wanted a glass of red wine yesterday morning at 7 a.m, but that's not going to happen, is it?
Or maybe that was like me this morning when I've got my son telling me how much he hates me. But anyway, we all go through those days.
Yeah.
And you just, you know, they're the moments that I just laugh through and go, honey, I love you so much.
Do you? Oh, you're such a good mum. I'm just like,
No, I still love them unconditionally, even through those times.
right?
But I think for the younger generation or our kids, it is definitely going to be more challenging as the years go on. And I do think, how on earth are they going to own property? Like, we look at what's happened since 2020.
Through us.
Yes.
We are building those strong foundations, right?
Mm.
Yeah, because I remember my dad's like, well, I didn't have that. My parents didn't give me that. And I'm like, you struggled growing up. I was like, I'm not going to see my children struggle. I know what it was like.
Yeah.
So
you're
building
right.
those foundations,
That definitely, even for me, was one of my biggest motivations. I was working 14 or 9 months and making sure I had all the savings possible at the beginning to buy my first car. But then from there, my next motivation was to start my first business.
Yes.
And then as the business grew, it was to, franchise out, grow in Australia, and then buy my first property. So you put those foundations in place. When you have an end goal, it's like, okay, how am I going to get to that? And I feel like your goals realign all the time as well. Like,
oh, definitely.
you forever are making goals. Like, this podcast is definitely a goal of mine and yours.
Me too, yeah.
And I truly believe that when you have mentors or motivational people around you,
yes,
it drives you as well. Like, I didn't do
Yes.
this all on my own. No way. It's the people that have surrounded me that have helped me gain the success I have. Without them, I wouldn't be who I am.
Oh, 100%.
And you obviously, people come in and out of your life for different reasons. And I'm a true believer in that. Everything happens for a reason. As shivers as it is sometimes, and you're like, what the hell's just happened? God has created a path for all of us. And
Amen.
yep, well, I'm a true believer in that.
Oh,
like,
so am I 100%.
People go, well, God took your mum away. No, God didn't take my mum away. That was just her time in life. And I then go, what she created was a beautiful brother for me who has been my best friend since the day I was born.
Oh, that's beautiful.
And he's another huge motivation and supporter of where I am now. And when we're talking about, your self-worth, I will be honest, last year I definitely hit rock bottom and lost all my self-worth. And I won't name like who brought me down that far, but end of last year, I could have easily quit real estate because I didn't think I was worthy enough to be a real estate agent. I'd been told so many times, you can't sell for shivers. Like, you are no one. Your kids hate you. Like, all these nasty things. And it took me to break that wall down and go, you know what? No, I'm not.
Correct.
It takes time. It's not something that you just break through that barrier straight away. And as nasty as some humans can be, there is still so many good people around. I look around my surroundings of my male and female friends that have supported me and brought me up and said, I'm proud of you. Like, if anyone's got this, you've got this. And look, I was like, how many rocks can be thrown and can I keep going? The truth is, you can have endless rocks thrown at you.
Oh, 100%.
There's things that happen that you just have no control of.
Yeah.
It's the things that you have control of that you need to control. And you have the ultimate choice in life to be happy or miserable. Which path do you want to take?
That's right. That's right. No, you've done incredibly well in such a small amount of time.
And it's that motivation and drive that I want everyone listening, whether you're 16, whether you're 80. It doesn't matter what stage in your life you are at. And if you're not feeling good, listen to us. Because I can tell you now that we all have those days, but the people that bring us up are the people that will make us stronger.
Absolutely.
As well as ourselves.
Yeah, definitely. I love that.
So I guess like it's what this all is about is that motivational, that education, that self-worth, but also how do we create financial wealth? Because everyone wants financial wealth at the end of the day.
Oh, that's right.
And whether it's being, having properties, having shares, owning businesses, and how do you build a business, to the simple things in life, like being able to sit on the couch at the end of the day with your kids in arms, watching a movie, eating some popcorn,
Yeah,
to
beautiful.
going on family holidays. They're all things that create wealth.
Yeah, and it's definitely about educating yourself as well. Making sure that you are putting money into yourself, investing in yourself, doing those courses. Like I listened to a podcast this morning by Robert Dahl Jr. Rob Dahl Jr. I love him. And he said, like, you put energy into something for 6 months and you be the best at that in 6 months. And you put time into it, effort, money, immerse yourself into learning this thing or doing whatever you want to do for 6 months, and then see what happens. Like, imagine if you did something like that for 6 months for yourself and invested so much time into yourself for 6 months into something you really want to achieve. Like, it would just be life-changing.
Oh, 100%. Like, I've got to say, I've always said to anyone, even in business, you need to back yourself. Those first 2 years of a business is crucial. Like, when I started my first wedding business, I was starting the franchise, but also at the same time working full-time in Coffee Club.
Yes.
I was using Coffee Club money to build into the business. And look, it's not everyone's cup of tea, because I was working around the clock, let alone I ended up falling pregnant straight after starting my first business. I was like, yeah, this is great timing. Very grateful, don't get me wrong. But first 2 years, I was managing both of them. And then obviously Chance came along and changed that. I couldn't really do it all as much as I thought I could do it all. But I say those first 2 years of investing back in myself is how the business then grew into a company. Yes. How I ended up owning 8 franchises around Australia. It wasn't sitting back and twiddling my thumbs. There was nights when I was a single mum and, I look back now going, this is absolutely ridiculous, and I don't recommend this to everyone or anyone really. I'd put Chance to bed. And because I wanted that time, she was only like 1. I wanted that time with her during the day. So I wanted to be a hands-on mum, but I also wanted to run a company. So I'd put her to bed and I'd work the whole night till the point she woke up at 5 a.m. in the morning. Again, don't recommend that. That was a bit chaotic in that time of my life, but it was that juggling act. It's just what I had to do. And I look back and go, I did it.
Yeah.
I did it because I put my mind to it.
Yes.
And I also did it with an end goal. So my end goal at that time was I wanted to make sure by the time Chance was 5 that I'd set up the company so well that, it was profitable to sell. And why I say 5 is that by the time she was 5, I knew she was going to start school. And it was a wedding industry, so working every weekend. And so I didn't want her to start school and then mummy's, there during the week, but then never there on the weekend. So that was my goal at the time, to sell that and have the money there. And then I built my first house from that. And this is where I always say, at the moment, I'm helping one of my guy mates to manifest and to understand what his goals in life are, because we all go through transitions.
Yes.
And he'll laugh about this. Yesterday I said, where's my Post-it note? And he's like, what do you mean my Post-it note? I said, you're meant to write down a goal each day on this Post-it note, and I'm going to stick it on your wall, and you're going to envision this. And by the end of the day, he put the Post-it note on my desk and he said, to find love.
Oh.
Which is beautiful.
It's not that hard on the Gold Coast, is it?
I don't know, you tell me. Well, actually, you're happily in a marriage.
Not
Sorry,
married
no,
yet.
not married yet.
Waiting for that ring.
Oh, wait. When you get married, you know I'm a celebrant, so you've got the perfect person.
What can't you do?
See, the celebrancy, it's been a hobby of mine for 14 years, nearly going on 15 years. And the reason I do that, and people are like, oh, you would make so much money, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, no, it's a hobby.
Yes.
And why I've kept it as a hobby is because I do that because it enriches my soul. And I get to be a part of people's most happiest day of their life. And yes, I might be going through a divorce, but I'm a true believer in love. And I'm very cliche in that way. I'll still cry in those rom-coms. But it definitely, finding a passion on the outside of what you're doing for work or business, whether it be something that like I'm doing, whether it be going surfing, whether it be going playing soccer, whatever your passion is, do it.
Yeah.
Don't find excuses not to do it.
Yeah.
I did take too much on last year. I was doing 70 weddings and trying to run full-time real estate agent. So I've definitely reined it in this year, back to 20.
That's good.
So
That's good.
It's
Because
worked
I
that
need
way.
you.
Oh, yeah, and then we fit the podcast in between everything.
Well, that's good. Well, and what about our social lives?
I'm finding time here and there. But I guess like that's life.
Yeah. I think for me, so the last 13, 14 years I was in a corporate role in finance. And then like you started a company and a business from when you were really young. I just started like 2 years ago. I didn't even think I would be a director or a buyer's agent in real estate running my own company. Like I had no idea. Like I was not interested in being self-employed at all. It was just wild. But from you, like you did it at such a young age, which is super inspiring to me. So I think for me, yeah, running my own business, it has been tough. And I've had that imposter syndrome in my head. Like the last month I signed my biggest client. I shut my books, signed the biggest client, won the auction for my clients over in Japan. I did very, very, very well. Very, very proud of myself. But like you said, like last year, you kind of hit rock bottom and you had someone telling you, you know, you can't do this. You're no good at selling. You're no good at real estate. And that's something that I was saying to myself in my head, like, how is this person like believing in me, like to buy them a property? And knowing very well, I've been involved in over 50 property transactions in the last 2 years, knowing very well that I can do what I can.
Yeah.
But I guess, yeah, it's just crazy how your mind just plays tricks on you, and when you want to just rein it in and that self-talk.
Oh, 100%. Like I said this to someone the other day, and if I had that pressure still in my mind and that forever, and it was every day, every second day, basically being told those things, do I think I would have made that record sale? You know, there's a huge part of me that goes no, because I wouldn't have had the drive and determination in me. Even though I knew I was good at what I do, it was tough. It was tough. But I look at this year and I've just got to laugh. I've just got to go, you know what? I've proven not just my self-worth, but I've proven to the industry this is only the beginning.
Oh, 100%.
Like, I am only just starting.
Yeah.
And this is where, you know how you said, yeah, I started my first business when I was 23, but you know, just started your first business older. It's the same. It's kind of similar because that business was totally different to real estate, right?
Yes.
So entering into real estate, a lot of people wouldn't even known that I've been in it for 18 months. I kind of skipped the sales associate path, took my own lead.
But you've bought and sold your own property and built your own property and renovated. So
that's why I got into real estate. So since my goal when I bought my first block of land and built on there, then I bought an investment property straight from that. And then I consolidated both the investment property and that home to then buy another block of land down in Kingscliff and build that house as well. And I do think like I'm not up myself in any single way. But in the 10-year period, especially in 2 of those properties, I've doubled the value.
Yes.
And
It's the power of property, right?
It's power of property. It's a power of also knowing and understanding where to buy, when to buy.
Correct.
There is cycles in real estate.
Yes, there are.
And it's also, you know how you said about teaching yourself as well. It's all about the education side.
Oh, 100%.
I listen to a lot of podcasts. I talk to a lot of advisors. It's not like I'm just going out on a limb and just buying property here, there, and everywhere. Yeah. And that's why, the whole thing with the buyer's agents, it's fantastic. You need that. You need financial advisors.
Yes.
Back when I started, because buyer's agents weren't really a thing back in 2013, not here anyway.
Well, I didn't know what one was 3 years ago.
Mine was books. I was reading books.
Yes.
So my first book was Positively Geared.
So I'm not very good at reading books. We know that,
but you've got audio these days, so you can do that as well. But it was understanding the foundation of how to invest, whether it be your first home or your next investment, and understanding what you need financially to go and buy your first home.
Yeah, and who to have around you.
And exactly that. And you still go in those cycles. And something look, I'm not a financial advisor, but when you're looking at property, if it's your first one, you wouldn't buy into a booming suburb. Look at the surrounding suburbs around that booming suburb.
Undervalued.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. They're the next suburb to boom. I'm watching that in the market now around Kingscliff. Mm-hmm. Like Kingscliff, Casuarina, they've had their boom. They're still increasing.
Oh, yeah.
But the surrounding suburbs are now where there is suburb records happening.
Well, that's right. Like if you look from the Gold Coast to Brisbane and you look at what and how they are performing right now in the market, and then you see it all just trickling down and out, into the Logan area and out to Ipswich.
Yeah, so someone told me to invest in Logan and I was like, ooh.
Don't bag it, I've got one there.
Yeah, well, exactly. But no.
And I've done good.
No, but do you know what I mean? Like I have had advisors back in the day, well, not back in the day, it was probably last year when I was talking about buying my next investment property. You look at Perth, for instance. Like they've had the biggest capital growth this year.
Perth's doing really well.
For a number of factors in that way. But what I would say is that you still can buy into the market now.
Oh, 100%.
Like I was reading yesterday that first home buyers is actually on the increase. You'd think they'll be on the decline because of the borrowing capacities, and even single home income. Like single people's, there's an increase there as well.
It's huge and it's happening. I think what a lot of people are not wanting to do is live within their wage, right? People are wanting to buy that $1 million property now. As for me, as a single mum, and when I had to start again, I bought my stepping stone house, and it was probably one of the worst duplexes, 2-bedroom, 1-bathroom duplexes on the street. I bought in a very good location. And I was able to do some minor renovations and build up to buy my next asset with my partner. And we've done incredibly well with that one too. So I think what people aren't doing is buying what they can afford, right? They want that $1 million property. Sorry, you can't buy that right now. Buy what you can afford right now. That $700,000 property. Sacrifice a little bit of things. Kids share a room. It's not forever. It is going to grow. And then you use that money to buy your next property. And then you just keep going. And I think a lot of people are not looking at the stepping stone houses. I'm very huge on stepping stone houses.
Yeah.
That's what I call them. And that's what I've done. And I've done incredibly well. So I think people need to live within their means and buy what they can now and just know it's not forever.
Yeah, 100%, 100%.
As long as you're safe, you've got a roof over your head, you're making money while you're sleeping.
Oh, my first home, even though I built it, it was a Metricon home. Like, it was a stepping stone at that time.
Yeah.
It ended up doubling in value, and that was before COVID times I sold it. And then obviously COVID hit, and lucky where I bought into, that doubled as well.
Yes. Yes.
But then I had investment townhouses, just new builds, good on tax depreciation, everything like that. That's why I bought those investments. Good rental return, everything.
Yeah.
Stepping stones are important, and knowing the locations, and like you said, if you got something that, it might be a bit dingy, do some renos on it.
That's right. There's nothing white paint can't fix. Like white paint. Amazing. Just go to Bunnings, get some white paint. Go on YouTube. I'm not very good at painting, so I had to do a bit of a YouTube situation, but, I did it.
Oh, I'll tell you a story about might be rambling a bit, but painting. So I don't know if other parents would look up or down on me, but Alfie was 6 months old, and 8th of December, the house I built in Kingscliff, we got the keys, and I was determined. There was a fence that was 40 metres long, and it was just a pine fence, and I was like, this has got to be white. And I was out there with the carrier, with Alfie in the carrier, painting this fence.
Do you have a spray gun?
No, I didn't. I didn't learn about the spray gun until afterwards. So I did do the whole 3 coats and everything like that.
Up and down with the carrier like this. Get it, girl.
In December. And I remember my next door neighbour coming up, and he was a developer, and he's like, I've never seen someone so determined in my life. And I was like, this is his first Christmas. This fence needs to be painted.
I love it.
So that's a story about white paint. But the number of houses I've gone to sell, and they've gone, okay, what minor little renovations should we do before we go to the market?
Oh, yes.
Usually the first thing I say is do the interior painting.
Yes.
Because it just freshens up a property so much.
It does. And it's quite minimal, the costs, really, if you do it yourself. If you hire someone to do it right, then, you got to pay money. They're experts. They paint every day. But it can be quite minimal if you do it yourself.
Yeah, yeah. So what do you reckon, like, in terms of our guest speakers, like who we're going to have?
Okay, first up I have spoken to an amazing valuer in Sydney. She actually valued our property, our floor plan, the other morning. She's absolutely incredible. Spoken to her, she's jumping on. But I feel like we're going to have, like we've discussed, a lot of people talking about finance, property. So, yeah, mortgage brokers, financial planners, insurance brokers even, property valuers, people with inspiration, fitness people. Why not?
Yeah. Well, I was speaking to another business owner who, funnily enough, I taught her. I used to be a teacher in one of my little trades.
I just can't with you. You're just... I can't deal with you.
Well, when I got our weddings, I decided to go and teach at TAFE.
Perfect.
To help, again, motivate the next generation. To succeed in events, and so that was one of. But this young girl, she did a number, of self-education through diplomas and everything like that, and she's created such a successful business. I can't wait to have her on as a guest speaker.
Yeah.
To showcase where she came from and where she is now in her business as well.
Yes.
And what steps she took to get to there, because it's important. It doesn't just happen overnight.
No, it doesn't.
Business is not easy.
No, it's not. But do you know the thing I wished the most was talking to an accountant my first year.
Oh my God. I can't believe you brought that up, because yes, I've got to say
myself over.
There's value in having a good accountant.
Yes, now I've got a really good one. We'll bring her on the show too. Yeah. But it's the importance of when you're starting a business and making sure you talk to the right people to make sure that you're not going to be hit with a giant tax bill because you were taking money from your business account. Just little things. Yep. Had no idea.
Yeah,
just little things.
That happened to me when I changed from a business to a company, and the structure of the company, which I'm going through now with a new accountant for this company that I've started as well. And, it's all these things that I think, we're 36 and 37. It would have been great to know this when we started our first business or when we were younger. And to me, it's really important that I talk to, and we talk to the millenniums of advice that we never had.
Yes.
Does that make sense? Like,
Absolutely.
we didn't just get here by chance,
No.
and worked really hard. But if I'd known everything I know now back then, I definitely think I probably would have had, I'm successful now, and I was successful then, but more financial independence as well.
Oh, absolutely. I think I'd own probably, I don't know, close to 1,000 properties across Australia if I even started younger.
Yeah. And then this is the thing. I guess the millennials look at it now that how are we going to break this market? Like, how are we going to own that first property? Like, you look at the medium house price.
Yeah, I know. But there's other ways where, look, I'm not a financial broker or anything, but I've been told, about rent vesting. A lot of people do that rent vesting. It's a term now that's, thrown out there where you can live in the location and rent in the location, but you purchase an investment property elsewhere.
Explain that to me.
Yeah.
Because I haven't heard that term.
Yeah. So a lot of people are living where they want to live, but they can't afford to buy where they're living in that location. So, for example, they'll be using buyer's agents in other states that can actually purchase a property within their budget. You can get a townhouse in Perth, for example. Don't quote me, everyone, for around, say, for example, 350,000. Depending on your income, you may be able to buy that property and then rent that out and then still live where you are living. So a lot of people are doing that.
And so what does that mean? I guess it comes down to different states with the first homeowners grant.
Yeah, well, that's
you
right.
You kind of lose that, don't you?
100%. So it's
at least
really
you're
up to
starting
the
somewhere.
That's right. It's up to the individual and, other people, like their lifestyles and what's going to suit them, right? Because that rent investing may not suit everybody, but it may suit somebody else. So it's about giving them the right education and, but a lot of people are doing that to get into the market.
100%.
Yeah.
And I think it's important, and I have this conversation with my daughter all the time. She's a little entrepreneur and she started this jewelry business and everything like that. But she spends every single cent she makes. And I say to her, I get it. I get you want to go shopping. I get all that. But just split the money.
Yeah.
Just split the money. Have a savings account, put 50% in there. At minimum. Just do that. Because you're going to be kicking yourself in 5 years' time that you didn't do that. I'm not saying not to live your life, but I'm saying for what you can do in that way.
Yeah.
That money when she finished, she's only in grade 7. So she's got 5 years of high school still to finish. And you imagine that income that she would get from her business now if she put 50% into savings.
100%. So my children, they don't get pocket money. Everything goes into EFTs. So we invest their pocket money every month and it goes into EFTs. And my son's very, very knowledgeable in the share trading market.
Yeah.
He loves it. And that's what he's a little bit really into that. So we look at, the companies we want to invest in, and he's chosen, the top 200 Aussie companies. And that's where, for him and his sister, and that's where their pocket money goes. So they don't get pocket money from me. It gets invested, and then that compounds over the next 5-10 years. And then that's another way we're going to be building wealth for them as well. So like you said, my son, I don't know, like I went through his bank account the other day, his dad and I, we put money in there. And, Dunkin' Donuts, KFC, like all the things you're not allowed to eat at home, like not okay. So I understand your daughter's probably into the skincare like my daughter.
Skincare,
my
skincare,
gosh,
skincare.
like I don't even shop at these places. My daughter wants to, like $80 for some moisturizer. Like I don't even do that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, she's definitely got more skincare products than I do, and a lot bigger value than I do. And so exactly that. It's just like educating, going,
100%.
honey, just split that by 50%.
Yeah.
And, like even putting like incentives, and not every parent will want to do that, but like obviously you've done the EFT. My incentive to her is like, if you start doing that, when you graduate year 12, I will do equal amount to what you've saved.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like,
great.
and because I don't do pocket money either, I'd rather do that.
Yeah.
That shows her a stream of saving, and then her reward for that and everything she's done, whether she's done the dishes, the washing, or anything like that, she's getting equal amount when she finishes grade 12 to go and buy her first car, put it towards a property, put it towards shares, whatever she chooses, whether it starts a business or something like that as well. But you got to work harder when you're younger to have that capital growth when you're older.
That's right.
Like,
That's right.
it doesn't just happen. Like,
No.
I talk to a lot of businesses at the moment that they struggle getting staff because there's no desire to work hard
No.
anymore.
No.
So what's that mean?
I know. I don't know. People are lazy. No, I'm kidding.
But you can. This is the thing. People can change. People can change.
Well, 100%. If you
can
want to
be-
change, you can.
Exactly.
Full stop.
Yeah.
Should we get into episode 2 soon?
Yes. What's on the agenda for episode 2?
A bit of trauma. Getting through it. Self-love, self-talk.
Okay.
Let's get it, sis.
Yeah, sounds perfect. I'll talk to you very soon.